Hello, everybody. Long time no see. Hey, Rick, how you doing, honey? So good to see you. Hey, Rick, I'm really glad that you're here for this particular live that I'm doing, and I want you to listen in. And I've known you. You've known me for several years, more than 10. For those of you who don't know Rick, Rick is was a coworker of mine. Worked together for a few years. So that man in the chat knows me, seen me, knows me. Okay, Rick, so pay attention to this. Hey country thug, how you doing? Okay, so well, first of all, I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna play a video. And for me personally, I found it easier when I do lives to like do my little video and then talk about the video as opposed to me just coming up here trying to explain something, and sometimes I just get confused. This is a really important topic, and I'm going to stop running my mouth and I'm going to get right to it. So y'all hold on one second. Please pay attention to this. It's very important. Hey Faith. You all give me a second. I'm so sorry. Y'all know I get up here every time. Let me try this over. One second. Mute my mic. I'm trying to figure out why it's not playing. Hold on, hold on.
Andy, Miss Andy, Miss Andy, Miss Andy.
Hello and good morning to everybody. I hope you all are feeling well. I am sending positive vibes to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me. So, today I wanted to come up here and speak about something. I learned about a new word, and it's called empath. Empath. And before I get into the little research that I've done, I want to let you people know how I even came across this word. Some of you may know, and I'm going to do my best not to mention names because it's really not relevant. Um, there is a female YouTuber and who I happen to enjoy, a lot of her videos. She has some educational things and things like that. And Lord knows we all love a good drag every now and again, right? So, in a particular situation, this YouTuber was in a confrontation with another YouTuber. And this thing had been going on for however which long, right? So it got to the point where the YouTuber that I watch, been watching her for a while. She had just came to terms to where, you know what, I'm just going to go to this person's house. And she did just that. She went at 4 o'clock in the morning to confront this person about how she felt was disrespecting her family, her children, everybody, right? So she showed up at 4 a.m. at this person's house. Excuse me. And this ring cam video that belonged to the person in which she went to go see. Now, this ring cam video is all over YouTube now. So we can kind of see what happened when she got there, right? So within this ring camera, I see her approach the house. I can't explain to you the feelings that I was feeling. I can explain them now, but in that moment, I didn't know what was going on in my mind, in my body, nowhere. I was shook. Way over here in California, supposed to be minding my damn business. Shook. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was afraid. I was scared, not for myself. I was afraid for her, but I felt like I was her. Not physically. I can't even explain it, but here we go. So I see her walk up the steps, ring the doorbell, all this and other. He comes out. Now I see a gun in this man's hand. And it it totally did something to me. Now I'm watching. He has not struck her. There was no audio available, so I couldn't hear what was said. But just the mere fact of me witnessing and seeing this person armed 4 a.m. with another person that they had confrontation with. Now, nothing happened in the video. She Whatever happened, happened. I saw her leave. I saw her walk up the street. I saw that she was not injured. I saw her go live the next day. All this. I saw and understood that, right? But still, I was shook. I couldn't explain what was going on. One thing I did know was I wanted her to know how I felt. And how, even though I never met her, I genuinely cared for her. Didn't know it until this happened. So I sent her a private video. Oh, yeah, privately, about 15 minutes or so. And I basically told her how I felt in that moment. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one. And I understand that she is most definitely an adult and a grandmother. And she's perfectly capable of making her own decisions, right? I wanted her to know how that made me feel. And I was able to express that in that video. And the response I got from her was incredible. And it was very touching. I'm very grateful for that. Not only for the words, but for the information that was in there. And a little bit of what she said was that she understood where I was coming from. She said I was an empath. And I said, empath? Okay, I went and looked at it really quickly. I didn't research it, investigate it, anything like that. But I did go and look it up. And I think the first line was like sensitive to other people's feelings. I've known that about myself all of my life. And it brings me personally back to a time where I can remember it started was with my daddy. I have never been a person to ever want to disappoint people around me that I love and care for, even as a child. I wasn't a child that my dad had to basically ever say anything to. The peer, if I knew that my dad was disappointed in me, that was enough for me. I didn't need to be punished. I didn't need anything. There were two words that my dad could say to me that would always let me know that he was disappointed. And those two words to this day are, oh, wow. Those two simple words, oh, wow. It struck me. So when she told me this, like I said, I looked at it. But then, I don't know, a few weeks later, I just really dug into it. Like, what is this? So I found out some amazing things. And I wanted to come up here and share this with everybody. Listen, you are not alone. There is nothing wrong with you. And I'm going to go through this. And if you see some of these traits in your daily life or in your character, do not be alarmed. It's not voodoo. It's not a hex. It's not any of that stuff. It's very important on to know how to manage it. Let's get into it. Are you an empath? Learning signs, triggers, and tips. If you've been told that you're highly sensitive, a really good listener, and someone who can always see where others are coming from, you may consider yourself to be an empath. Most empaths will agree that there are both pros and cons to having this personality style. On one hand, these people tend to be great friends and partners, excellent listeners, generous and reliable. On the other hand, empaths are often described as emotional sponges and people who take on the pain of others at their own expense, meaning they can easily become upset or overwhelmed by their emotions and environments. While being very attuned to others and your environment can be beneficial in many ways, it's also important for empaths to protect themselves from burnout and self-criticism. Below, we'll look at characteristics that empathetic people tend to have in common, triggers that can wind up causing empaths distress, as well as helpful coping strategies. Now, what is an empath? What does it mean to be an empath exactly? Empaths are people who experience a great deal of empathy. This term was coined by psychologists to describe highly sensitive individuals who can easily sense and feel what others are thinking. What does empathy mean exactly? Empathy is viewed as both a trait and a skill. It's essentially the ability to walk in someone else's shoes and to understand their viewpoint. Empathy is an important part of therapeutic work in client centered therapies, including humanistic therapy, which these types of therapy approaches, a therapist, counselor, they use empathy to understand the perceptives of their patient or their client. This helps to form a trusted relationship between the therapist and the patient, which is the foundation for making positive changes. Are empaths a real thing? And are empaths rare? Overall, it's hard to say how common this personality type really is because it's not a personality disorder that is studied, but rather it's a self-imposed term that's used to describe people with common empathetic traits. Certain studies suggest that true empaths who are sensitive to emotions, noise, touch, etc., do seem to be rare, with about 1 to 2% of the population qualifying as true empaths. Between 10 and 15% of the population is thought to be on the highly sensitive side, although there isn't any easy way to measure this. This is far less than, well, this is far less than percentage of people who would classify themselves as introverts, shy, socially anxious, or codependent in relationships. Like with other personality traits, empathy falls along a spectrum. So it's possible for someone to barely, partially, moderately, or highly empathetic. While it seems being very empathetic is a trait that people are probably born with, it can also be amplified or reduced depending on someone's upbringing and experiences. When they say born with, I did look into that. There are babies who are born naturally highly sensitive to lights, touches, noises, certain smells from the moment they're born, not when they come home from the hospital, from instant. And it's noticed while they're in the room, in the delivery room. These type people are more likely to be empaths in their life simply because of their sensitivity that they were born with. Let's look at some of the signs. Wondering, how do I know if I'm an empath? Here are some common characteristics of empaths. Great listeners, also good at sensing how others are feeling and if someone is not telling the truth. Amen to that. I have an excellent BS radar in my head. I like to call. Absolutely. I have been told that I am a wonderful listener for many, many, many years. And so this is one of the things that I can say, yes, this applies to my life. Tend to be introverts, meaning they benefit from spending time alone regularly to recharge and prefer smaller gatherings to large ones. Myself and my brother had this conversation, and he's always felt like he was an introvert. Um, I don't feel like I would categorize myself as that. I do enjoy being alone. I absolutely do. I don't have a problem with it. Um, some people may call me antisocial. Some people, even within my own family, I don't feel that way. And I'm kind of having an understanding as to why I feel the way that I do. And I'll get into that at the end of this video. Usually, emotionally intelligent and intuitive, meaning they have strong gut feelings, but can have a hard time intellectualizing their feelings rather than becoming too absorbed in them. Um, I do feel like I'm very emotionally intelligent. I am extremely intuitive. Never understood why. I've been able to just know things. I'm not saying I'm a psychic. I ain't none of that. I wouldn't want to be. I don't know if I want to see shit that's going to happen in the future. Some might say, yeah, why not? Then you'll be able to change things. Well, listen, listen, it's just too much. So no, I don't feel like I see in people's minds or anything, but I really feel like even in conversations sometimes I can feel what someone is saying to me, whether it's good or bad. This is not just bad stuff. When someone's happy, I am ecstatic. When someone's down, I feel that. And I'm not the only one. There are people out here who are just like me, which is why I am doing this live. Okay, let's move right along. Can easily feel drained when spending too much time with other people, especially those that need a lot of attention and support. I don't feel drained about. I'm not drained when I'm around a lot of people. I guess maybe a little sense of anxiety, depending how many people or how long I'm at, that specific place. Okay, so the next one is often considered great friends since they show up in times of need, have big hearts, and are naturally supportive. All of that I have been told um, for a long time, and it is a good feeling. It makes me happy to be able to make people around me that I care about happy. It's almost like I make a point to do that. It's not something that, I mean, I like spontaneous stuff. Um, as far as, I don't know, I might send some flowers or a candy or a card to somebody. You know what I'm saying? A phone call. I like uplifting people when I can. Commonly take on problems of others as their own, may be unable to differentiate between their own feelings and someone else's. Amen to that. Amen to that. Excuse me. Yes, I have found myself in situations more than once, more than twice, more than 3, 4, or 5 times where I may be having a conversation or hear something, and not only am I guess I'm left feeling like, why am I feeling all this energy? Why am I feeling like I'm in this such explosive state? Why am I this angry? What the fuck is going on? Now, after research, it's like, it's not just my feelings, it's the other person's feelings. So a person who is an empath must be very, very, very careful. Make sure that what you're feeling is your shit, not anybody else's stuff. If we don't know, then we don't know how to fix stuff. So let's take a test. If you answer yes to more than 3 of the questions below, chances are you are highly emotional, which isn't a bad thing. Who is more empathetic than most? Here we go. Let's take the quiz. Have I been labeled as too emotional or overly sensitive? Yes, for me. If a friend is distraught, do I start feeling it too? Yes, for me. Are my feelings easily hurt? Absolutely. My feelings are hurt by people I care about. So I'm not saying that somebody can jump up and call me a boatload of bitches and I'm going to run off and cry. So don't try me. What I'm saying is people around in your circle. Not, and maybe I shouldn't say it like that because I actually saw a video of a man getting, let's just say, accosted. And that bothered me too. So I won't say just people around me, but I'm telling you, it's such a weird thing. Let's move on. Am I emotionally drained by crowds and require time alone to revive? I do enjoy being alone. Let me say it again. I do enjoy being alone. I like to think. Um, this is what my thoughts were of why I like being alone. After looking at all this stuff, I think it's a little bit more to it. Let's move on. Do my nerves get frayed by noise, smells, or excessive talk? I'm not frayed by noise, smells, or excessive talk. Those three things, they don't bother me. I guess because if someone's talking too much, I'm a mom. I've raised kids. I know how to block shit out and only, my ears a twiggle if something that other person says, kind of catches my attention. So next, do I prefer taking my own car place so that I can leave when I please? Hell yes. I don't know. I may get there and have my whole change of heart. Hey, listen, I just stopped in for a minute or whatever. I like to leave. I don't want to feel trapped. I don't want to feel like I'm stuck. I know we got Uber and all this other stuff now if you did, ride with somebody. But I'm just saying I prefer my own space. Okay. Let me see, where am I at? Okay. Do I overeat to cope with emotional stress? Absolutely not. Indy is a slim goodie. Okay. There are people who do. I think I have the opposite effect. My appetite kind of descends when I'm going through my own emotion or the emotion of someone that I care for. I may have got wind of something. Someone may have called me. Depending on how deep that conversation was, yes, it does affect me physically. So yes, it does kind of mess with my appetite. And the next one is, am I afraid of becoming engulfed by intimate relationships? No, I am not. I've never felt afraid of being in a relationship. And let me just say this while I'm here at this um, question. Some of you know, some of you don't know. I came on with a lot of you back in 2017. And in 2014, I actually lost my fiance, murdered. And long story short, when that happened, I found myself in a bubble, right? And so going out and doing things, it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. Now, this was 2014. And so after all those years, you fast forward to 2019. So all these years, I've basically been to myself. Go to work, come home. Go to store, come home. 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 Not even seeing that it was something wrong in what I was doing. I kind of knew, but I didn't know how to get out of it. I knew why I was doing what I was doing. I was still loyal to my man, grave or not. For a long time, I felt like, even though I know he not here, it's like I never thought about looking at nobody. I never I never considered it. I just kept on as best that I could, just doing my own, daily thing. And yes, friends, family, even the family of a dearly departed, they talked to me over the years. You should, you know what I'm saying? Girl, go on. It's okay. You know, you're not, there's nothing. Go out, go, go have fun. I would get angry with those people. It was like, how dare you? Do you hear what you're saying to me? So I think where the boundaries come in as an empath is very important. So, in my thinking, eventually, all these people that were saying that, I'm like, you know what? They're right. But how am I going to get out of this? How do I step out of feeling like this? Right? Which brings me to a fling I had in 2019. And even after that, I kind of felt the same way. I felt even worse. So from that point to this point now, 2021, I'm finally understanding why. So I said all that to say this. Research is a mug. I wouldn't say I'm diagnosing myself, but I'm telling you, this stuff that I'm looking at totally identifies with my life. I can look back on certain situations in my life from many, many years ago, late teens, early 20s, 30s, all this. Most of the decisions that I made in the way that I live my life, particularly in relationships, I affected myself. I put up with shit that I know damn well I shouldn't have put up with. But you know what we do? We make excuses on why shit is the way that it is. In some kind of way, I would always find a way that if I would have done something, all this wouldn't have happened. Fuck that shit. Now I know. Let's go on. Other things to ask yourself. Do I feel refreshed after being alone? Yes, I feel good. No, no nothing, no drama, no nothing. Do I notice little changes in people that others miss? Absolutely. And it kind of gets on my nerves because I think that's one of the reasons why I'm always thinking, I'm constantly thinking, because I'm always noticing something. I notice what people say. I notice their tone. I notice how they say it. If they're in front of me, I see their eyes. I see their facial expressions. I see their body movements. I can feel the air that they intake before. I don't know why. I just do. And I'm not the only one. So let's see some of these triggers. What is an empath triggered by? Below are some common triggers for empaths that can wind up causing them emotional stress. Very important, people. Pay attention and listen. This may not be for you, but you may know somebody that lives their life like this. You may know somebody. You may have been thinking, oh, they just sensitive. Yes, they are. Are they just sensitive though? Or does it go a little deeper to where a lot of people don't even have the understanding? And the people who are dealing with it, a lot of times don't know how to say it. Okay. Feeling like a failure or someone who lets others down when their problems can't be solved. it's often difficult for empaths to extend the same compassion to themselves that they do others. Absolutely true. I was having a conversation with someone, and I can't remember exactly how it went, but I know that, say for instance, if I'm in my house and I had a weapon, let's just say I have a weapon in my house, a big one, child, like an AR or something, right? I got that shit laid up in the closet. Let's just say I'm here alone and someone comes into my house or breaks into my house in the middle of the night. Me knowing me, and I know I'm gonna get some backlash. It's all right. Don't judge me. But me being me, my first reaction would more than likely be to get the fuck away, to get the fuck up, to get the fuck out, eat the motherfucker way I can, pick up someone on the way out, swing, get the fuck on, grab a cell phone if I can. If not, butt ass naked, whatever it is, just get away, get away, get away. Danger, 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 right? Danger, get away, danger, danger. That's the fight or flight, right? Now, this same scenario, I'm at home. Somebody I care about up in here. Maybe my grandkids, maybe my kids, spending the night. Let me hear somebody come up in this motherfucker. Let me tell you something. I'm going to use every bullet in that motherfucking AR, and I'm going to light that ass up. And then I'm going to take the barrel of it and do something I shouldn't even say online. My point of that is I feel more angered with someone attacking or potentially attacking people that I care about. I have more fight for that. And sometimes it really does scare me because I can think about some of the stuff that I'd be willing to do for some of my family, and it's scary to me. And I thank God it's never been that, pretty good to nobody, really get into anything or whatever. But what if they did? I would really have to know how to handle something like that. Because again, I know I'm going to be going off my stuff, and whatever's going on with a family member, I'm going to be holding on to their stuff, and then once, all the cousins and everybody found out, guess who's holding everybody's energy? Me. Very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. We must be aware. Okay, where was I? Having a hard time saying no or setting boundaries. I don't have a hard time saying no. I just never have. I do have a problem with boundaries in the past. I'm definitely getting better with those. Feeling highly sensitive to other people, noises, and hectic environments. I am highly sensitive to other people. Noises, not so much. I'm okay with hectic environments, like I said, depending on amount of time and what's really going on. Easily becoming overwhelmed by negative experiences and emotions, including anxiety or anger. Absolutely. Easily becoming overwhelmed by negative experiences. That is absolutely me and so many others. Can have a hard time with too much physical contact, including hugging others, and may find it difficult to be in close romantic relationships. This one, and I'm grateful, but I do feel for the people who do go through this. This one does not apply to me. I've always been a lover, a hopeless romantic, an intent to please, specific, targeted, like just, that's just, I feel like what I'm here for. So I don't mind being hugged and loved on, or physical contact, or anything like that. But again, just because, I think it's two things so far that I saw that really wouldn't apply, like the overeating and now this. There are people that still go through it. And like I said, my heart goes out to you people. But understand, there's a whole lot of stuff on this list that certainly applies to me. So we are still in this together. Hard time with conflict. speaking up and moving on from relationships. Absolutely. I've been in relationships, and no matter, even if I knew I wasn't in the wrong, I knew I didn't do nothing wrong. I knew it wasn't my fault. I knew this nigga wasn't shit. And I was the one that reached out. Not to say I was wrong, just to end it. Because I can't go day after day after day with this emotion of knowing something's wrong, of knowing I've upset someone. And it especially affects me when I know I didn't do it intentionally.